That's why I want to personally extend my gratitude to Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively.
Chelsea Handler just roasted Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni in front of a lot of major celebrities at an award show. I don't think Blake Lively is going to like it.
I'm grateful. I think we're all grateful. And I think we're good.
These HR complaints saying these were real and these were ignored, all painting Justin Baldoni to be a monster, okay?
Look, she does make fun of Justin and Blake, but the fact that she's making fun of it at all shows she doesn't believe Blake.
But there's probably not going to be a sequel. It ends with us, guys.
Once considered untouchable in Hollywood's dazzling hierarchy, Blake Lively now finds herself at the center of a humiliation so severe it could permanently alter the trajectory of her career. For years, she embodied perfection, her charm, elegance, and carefully polished persona earning the admiration of fans and industry insiders alike. But that flawless image, long thought unshakable, fractured under the weight of scorn and speculation. The setting? The Critics' Choice Awards, an evening built to celebrate achievement and polish stardom. Instead, it became the backdrop for an unraveling. What should have been another crowning moment in Blake's storied career spiraled into a spectacle of whispers, side-eyes, and brutal public scrutiny. In the span of a single night, her aura of invincibility dissolved into doubt, casting a long shadow over her future in Hollywood.
Times like these to have a distraction. I want to acknowledge that we've been through a lot lately, not just here in Los Angeles, but our entire country. Waking up every day, not knowing what news we're going to hear.
And she decided to file a complaint with the California Human Rights Division. But that was really, I believe, and it is alleged by Justin's lawyers now, just a setup so that she could give the New York Times cover to do a huge hit piece on him and attempted.
The Critics' Choice Awards usually follow a familiar script: glittering gowns, polished speeches, and the same air of polite self-congratulation. But this year, Chelsea Handler burned the script to ashes. With her trademark ferocity, she strode onto the stage, eyes gleaming with mischief, and delivered a roast so sharp it sliced through the room's polished veneer. Gasps echoed before nervous laughter followed. Her weapon? Pure sarcasm, delivered with that icy deadpan stare only she can pull off. Her targets? Unmistakable. Justin Baldoni and, most brutally, Blake Lively. With mock sincerity, Handler thanked them for providing Hollywood with the distraction it so desperately needed. No one needed a translation. The jab cut straight to Lively's very public legal chaos. What made it devastating wasn't just the line itself, but the precision. No sugarcoating. No sympathy. Handler reduced Blake's Golden Girl image to industry gossip in front of her peers. In seconds, the star who once commanded admiration became the punchline everyone laughed at, and the sound of that laughter hit harder than any headline ever could.
It's important in times like these to have a distraction. And that's why I want to personally extend my gratitude to Justin Baldoni and Blake.
The real power of Chelsea Handler's roast wasn't in the delivery, it was in the response. Instead of the awkward chuckles or forced smiles you'd expect at an industry event, the Critics' Choice ballroom erupted into unrestrained laughter. It wasn't nervous. It wasn't polite. It was loud, raw, and oddly cathartic, as if the entire room had been holding its breath for months and finally exhaled. That laughter carried weight. For too long, Hollywood had played along with Blake Lively's carefully polished victim narrative. Handler's brutal punchline cracked that facade, giving the room permission to laugh at what many had already started to whisper. Maybe Blake's story didn't add up. The laughter wasn't just about the joke, it was a symbolic rejection, a quiet but collective verdict that her act had run its course. In that moment, Blake's aura of untouchability collapsed, and the sound of Hollywood's laughter echoed louder than any headline ever could.
I think everybody in this room, no matter whose side you're on, we can all agree to accept that there's probably not going to be a sequel. It ends with us, guys.
And there are a lot of bodies for Blake Lively. So he's first filed a defamation lawsuit against the New York Times for their totally irresponsible report about this matter, in which they made a mistake, so egregious mistakes, intentional error.
The shift was undeniable, and the cameras caught it. Hollywood's most powerful figures weren't stifling smiles to smooth over an awkward moment. They were genuinely undone. Orlando Bloom doubled over. Emma Stone wiped tears from her eyes. Ryan Gosling clutched his chest as he laughed. These weren't background players, they were A-list arbiters of culture, and their reactions carried weight. Within minutes, the clips spread across social media, reframed as the night's defining moment. This wasn't harmless fun, it was tacit endorsement. Their laughter, broadcast and replayed on loop, became a symbolic vote that the tide had turned. For years, Blake Lively had basked in unwavering support, her Golden Girl image nearly untouchable. But this moment marked the fracture. The laughter of Hollywood's elite wasn't just amusement, it was mockery, rejection, and a public acknowledgement that the industry was ready to move on without her.
We hear Blake, because again, you gotta remember, Blake filed this suit, not Justin. Blake filed this suit. And if all of Hollywood is really believing her and Ryan, well, then why are they laughing? It's because this shouldn't be funny. This shouldn't be funny if we are seriously taking Blake's case so serious, which we're not. And unless Blake's dropping something to warrant all the things that she did to him, Justin deserves justice. Justin deserves to get his Wayfarer back where it was. Justin gets to...
The clearest sign of Hollywood's shifting mood wasn't in Chelsea Handler's delivery. It was in the reactions that followed. Cameras didn't linger on background faces. They zoomed in on the titans. Orlando Bloom doubled over. Emma Stone wiped away tears. Ryan Gosling clutched his chest as he laughed. These weren't forced smiles of polite industry solidarity. They were raw, unfiltered, and impossible to mistake. Within minutes, the footage escaped the ballroom and detonated across social media. Clips replayed on endless loop, framed by entertainment outlets as the moment of the night. And that was the danger for Blake Lively. This wasn't harmless fun, it was tacit endorsement. The laughter of Hollywood's elite, magnified by cameras and broadcast worldwide, landed as a collective verdict. For years, she'd enjoyed near unwavering public support. But this moment marked the fracture, a loud, gleeful rejection wrapped in comedy.
I would challenge back. This is absolutely not good for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. To see the Critics' Choice Award, which is a lot of critics and people coming in, it's press and people who review the films or at least hobnob with the studios. They're there trying to be nice to all this.
At the core of this firestorm are Blake Lively's explosive accusations against Justin Baldoni. In her lawsuit, she painted a chilling picture of harassment and sabotage, claiming Baldoni not only targeted her with predatory behavior, but also orchestrated a smear campaign to crush her career. These were not minor allegations. They were the kind that destroy reputations overnight. Her filing cast Baldoni as a man abusing power to intimidate and silence, while framing herself as the courageous woman daring to confront a predator. It was a narrative built to resonate, to rally outrage, to cement her as a cultural heroine standing up against systemic abuse. For a moment, it worked. The claims became her lifeline, the spark that ignited a media inferno and shored up her fragile image. But the weight of those accusations also ensured that when cracks appeared, the collapse would be devastating.
Award shows was actually going to step up and make some jokes. So props to Chelsea Handler. I think she could have gone harder. I think she could have gone more on Blake and Ryan, but she's playing in the middle. But all I will say is this is not Blake Lively's.
Then came the reversal no one saw coming. Justin Baldoni didn't settle, didn't apologize, didn't fade into damage control. Instead, he detonated a counteroffensive of staggering magnitude, a $400 million lawsuit accusing Blake Lively of defamation and civil extortion. The move sent shockwaves through Hollywood and far beyond. This wasn't mere defense, it was war. Even more shocking, Baldoni reportedly widened the battlefield, pulling Ryan Reynolds and the New York Times into the suit, escalating the stakes to heights the industry had never seen. And behind the headlines loomed something more dangerous. Reports that Baldoni held receipts, evidence sharp enough to dismantle Lively's narrative piece by piece. What began as her bid to define herself as the wronged victim now teetered into catastrophe. The spotlight shifted. Skepticism deepened. And in a stunning reversal, Baldoni wasn't the one scrambling. He was the one prepared to expose everything.
This sums up Hollywood in a nutshell. Oh God, please don't show me a laugh. I don't want to get Blake and Ryan mad, but it's funny. Please don't cut to me. Please don't cut to me. Oh God, it's funny though.
The saga escalated yet again when Justin Baldoni's legal team went for a target far bigger than Blake Lively. They went after the New York Times. Once her greatest ally, the Times had helped validate her accusations with sympathetic coverage. Now Baldoni accused the outlet of bias and journalistic negligence, striking directly at the media machine that had legitimized her narrative. The tactic proved devastating. Suddenly, this wasn't just Blake versus Baldoni, it was a war against the very institutions that had propped her up. As whispers of inconsistencies in her story grew louder, the media tone shifted. Coverage turned cautious, hedged with doubt. One by one, the pillars of support she had leaned on began to crumble. By the time cameras caught her humiliation at the Critics' Choice Awards, the damage was complete. Chelsea Handler's jab didn't just sting, it crystallized the shift. Hollywood wasn't shielding her anymore. It was laughing at her. And in that laughter, her golden girl image cracked wide open.
Please don't cut to me. Oh God, it's funny though, and I have to laugh at it because this whole thing's ridiculous. And yes, it's been such a wonderful, dramatic distraction, but...
Amid the lawsuits and the chaos, one rumor has gripped Hollywood tighter than any headline. Baldoni has receipts. Emails, texts, sworn testimony, no one knows for sure. The evidence remains sealed, whispered about but never revealed, and yet its mere existence has been enough to tip the scales. The suspense has become its own weapon, eroding Blake Lively's credibility one rumor at a time. The scale of Baldoni's counterattack only fuels the frenzy. His $400 million suit doesn't just name Lively, it pulls in Ryan Reynolds and even the New York Times, transforming a bitter feud into an industry-wide showdown. Was Reynolds dragged in as leverage, or does Baldoni believe he actively helped drive the alleged smear campaign? As for the Times, the accusation is even bolder, that one of America's most respected outlets became complicit in bias. Baldoni isn't only fighting for himself, he's rewriting the rules, warning every publication that backing the wrong narrative comes at a cost. For Lively, the fallout has been brutal. What began as a carefully scripted tale of victimhood has unraveled into a spectacle of manipulation, doubt, and mockery. Her breaking point wasn't a courtroom verdict, but Chelsea Handler's roast, a joke that collapsed her story in real time. The laughter was raw, unrestrained, and merciless. It wasn't just comedy, it was Hollywood declaring it no longer believed her. Now she stands in free fall. Once untouchable, now a cautionary tale. And the most haunting part? The receipts haven't even been revealed. If the whispers prove true, the worst may still be to come.